Hello and welcome to Story Skeptic. This week I want to share my thoughts on The Shadow Over Innsmouth, a book written by H.P. Lovecraft and the only book that was published in his lifetime. And here are some actual drafts of the novella. I thought that was cool. And I'll be going through this story from start to finish, and spoilers will come along. So if you haven't read it, go read it. It's a short story, it's 50 pages. If you don't care, let's get on with it. The Shadow Over Innsmouth is told from a narrator, a student conducting an antiquarian tour of New England, and he travels through the nearby decrepit seaport of Innsmouth, which is suggested as a cheaper and potentially interesting next leg of his journey. There he interacts with strange people and observes disturbing events that in the end lead to horrifying and personal revelations. I think it's such a cinematic story. It's very visual, it focuses on the setting, creatures, and it has a very clear structure. And what do I like with this story? That's mainly the mood, the atmosphere, and just like all of the mythos. And I really like the build-up. He builds and builds upon the suspense and the mystery of the place and the people, and you get really curious to find out what's going on. One way he does that is in the first 2 chapters. The main character spends his time in a lively city where he hears a lot of rumors about the neighboring town Innsmouth. And there's also this really nicely written transportation scene where he just takes this old bus to Innsmouth, where there's 3 passengers who he describes having this Innsmouth look. Thin faces, a flat broad nose, bulging eyes that doesn't seem to blink. He arrives in Innsmouth, and as a big contrast to the other city, it's described as an old, degenerated city. And it just pulled me right into the story. You want the main character to go around, sneak around to find out the secrets. And he does learn of all the secrets in Innsmouth, mainly by a clerk in a grocery shop and a drunk old guy named Sadok, who he offers alcohol, and then he gets a lot of information in return about the mythos, about the people of Innsmouth, and it's almost to the point that this feels like less of a scary horror story and more something akin to fantasy, like just a dark fantasy where Lovecraft can like show off all the world building and all the mythos he's created. So the main character doesn't really believe in these stories the old man tells because it seems so mad, but he has a bad feeling about the place and doesn't really feel he should be there, and decides to take the bus home. But the bus is unfortunately and maybe purposely broken down, and he has to stay overnight at this ominous hotel called the Gilman. And when he sleeps, he hears squeaking outside, and the people of Innsmouth is trying to catch him. And there's like a big chase scene, and he escapes, which was really intense and my favorite part of the story. There's even a moment where he has to like mimic the way they walk to not be noticed, and it's just really good and unexpected from Lovecraft, since he doesn't tend to write action. After this, he gets glimpses of the Innsmouth people, and you can tell that they're not really human anymore. They're like these human fish frog people. All of the stories that the old drunk guy told turns out to be true. When he sees all of them, he gets so overwhelmed and he passes out. The next day he wakes up and they're all gone. They haven't found him, and he makes his way to Arkham. And here we're kind of back at the start of the story, where he tells the US government and they do a raid on the city. And for the big twist, big spoiler, go read it if you haven't already. He does some more digging into his family tree, and he finds out that he's actually related to these Innsmouth people. He himself is turning into one of these deep ones, these fish creatures. At the start, it's like a terrifying thing, but towards the end, he's like slowly accepting it and actually looking forward to join the deep ones. This can have several types of meanings. It might not even be real. It might just be his descent into madness. Or on the other hand, it's real, and it's kind of the fear of becoming something that you yourself feared. And it's a bit ironic. Once you become that thing, you don't fear it anymore. Anyways, this twist just makes the whole story a lot more interesting, and I just think that this has a great potential to be adapted into a movie where you do some tweaks, maybe not having a character just tell the whole mystery, but have there be more showing instead of telling. And I think it could be a great mystery horror action film. And I know there's already a film named Dagon, but that's really low budget and doesn't do the visual potential of this story and the creatures and the town justice. That's my thoughts on it. If you want to start with Lovecraft, I think this is a great place to start. And if you have read it, let me know what you think about it. Is this your favorite or is there another one? Don't forget to like, subscribe. See you in the next one. Bye.